I saw the judges, I was looking in their eyes and I was like, don't act like I'm fighting him. There's no chance that I'm fighting Chris Bumstead.
The 2024 Classic Mr. Olympia runner-up, we have Mike Sommerfeld.
I gained 60 pounds in 4 months.
60?
I just slightly upped a little bit, like 1,500-ish, 1,600-ish, and I was growing. I needed to come back to eating because I was on low food for 3-4 years, and then it's like, eat whatever you need to eat to grow. I was weighing every piece to see what's happening after day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Digestion, bloating, water retention, inflammation, and everything worked out perfect. Higher dosages comes with higher amounts of food. I call it Hell Week. Basically, triple drop sets, 20 reps drop, 20 reps drop, up to 60 reps.
I remember the 3rd week. I was doing that for some time too. It was Hell Week, bro. It was unreal.
If you follow the awards, you can see that I'm always talking to my grandma and grandpa before they call my name. I was looking upwards and I was saying, hey, grandpa, grandma, look at that. Makes me proud to show them. And this is how I want to change the classic physique.
Do you think the next championships will be you and Ramon, the big battle?
Honestly.
Dude, your shoulders are still crazy. Jesus.
Thank you.
Might be the fastest podcast I've ever had, but we'll make it work.
I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so
No, you're good, bro. I get that you're super busy. That's what happens when you're a Mr. Olympia runner-up.
Bro, honestly, like these last 4 or 5 days, bro, my fucking Instagram exploded.
I'm not surprised. I was actually expecting. I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I screenshotted your Instagram like right when you were like winning, just because I was curious just how much it was going to grow, because I knew it was going to blow the fuck up. I'm pretty sure you've already like doubled, right?
Tripled almost.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. That's awesome. I mean, it's well deserved, dude. It's well deserved. That's the funny thing about bodybuilding is like there's so many amazing physiques out there, but it's just like, when are they going to be recognized? You know?
Yeah.
But you've always had like the craziest fucking shape. And honestly, I think you've made some of the most insane improvements the last couple of years that I've seen. So, I mean, in my unimportant opinion, all in the right places.
Let me put my headphones in real quick.
Yeah. By the way, homies, I'm sure most of you guys already know, but 1 week after we have Mike Sommerfeld, the 2024 Classic Mr. Olympia runner-up.
All right, I'm ready.
Bet. Thanks for coming on the podcast, by the way, man. Really. I know that you have a crazy schedule going on. But I am kind of curious, and I know that you're working with Neil right now. He and I have actually spoken a little bit in the past, and I know that he's a very, how do I say this? When I talk to him, I actually feel like I'm talking to Yoda sometimes. He definitely has like this weird aura of wisdom about him.
I call it, he's a guru.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he and Patrick Tuori kind of give me that vibe.
I was coached by these two guys.
Oh, both of them?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, obviously, without putting anyone on blast, I'm sure you don't have anything to say anyways regarding putting anyone on blast, but what did you feel like was different for yourself being coached by both of these two? Because I know everybody's different, everyone reacts differently to things.
Everybody has their strength, and Patrick is incredibly precise. He's more of a scientist. He will give you ideas of what kind of color of vegetables you need to eat at certain times. He's like that precise. And Neil he's the guru. He makes decisions out of his stomach, like right away. He sees you in a quarter of a second. He can tell you, okay, eat 20 grams less carbs. You're going to be fine.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's an eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows his business.
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that's just as on point through like WhatsApp and pictures and check-ins as like in person?
I mean, I've won pro shows just by online coaching. I've never I've met him maybe 5 or 6 times in my life. And this is basically like a few weeks out from the show. Mm-hmm. So all the prep before is basically online. Okay.
I see. So what were you and Neil's most focused areas for improvement through 2023 and 2024?
We asked the judges, and they told me we need to work on hamstrings and back and fill the gaps in between the thighs, especially from the back. And we did that. My back improved tremendously. And now we're switching over to a little bit more chest, shoulder roundness, and like more detail work.
Mm-hmm.
But we have still some weight we can go up. It's not the end of the scale.
That's awesome. How much weight?
Yes, 4 pounds, 4 pounds.
Okay. That's still a good, decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're putting it all in your chest and your shoulders.
And a little bit, I mean, you can get your waist smaller from year to year if you know how to do it. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Like keep your waist small and add some, round shoulders. It's going to be a fuller, completer look.
Wait, tell us about that. Keeping your waist small.
Oh, I have an ebook on my website. It's called Don't Waste Your Waist. It's more about food frequency, volume of food, digestion, of course, the workouts, belt, like equipment.
Yeah.
And it's not that complicated. I mean, it's logic. Our midsection is not secured by bones. It's just tissue. And if you eat like super big meals all the time, high volume, it's going to stretch over time. And the problem is that it's not coming back that easy. So you need to make sure you keep your midsection tight, and like you should practice vacuums and do a little bit of, ab work, and make sure your meals are on a higher frequency, not that big. All these small details come into play on, long term.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it sounds like you and I have the same perspective when it comes to that. I was just discussing the same thing with Patrick Tour and Dr. Todd Lee about keeping your waist small and trying to prevent growth. And they said the exact same things, but just in a little bit more detail when it comes down to the science. Essentially like avoiding axial loading, like you're saying, like putting on belts, not doing a whole lot of volume on like something like deadlifts when that's not really necessary to build your physique. One of the most important parts, digestive health and gut health, like you were saying, also food volume, which is super important. And then last things were like a lot of bodybuilders that just push compounds too hard because that blows out your waist as well. And this is like an art, it's not just like an all in and whatever, it's an art. You got to be really distinct.
Yeah, here's the deal. As you talk about compounds, it increases protein synthesis and glucose transportation, and you need to eat those proteins and carbs.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about higher dosages, comes with higher amounts of food. And
oh yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, 1,000%. It seems like every time I talk to any like top coaches or any top athletes, we all agree on the exact same thing. But then, obviously, like you'll just go on some comments on like some TikTok reel or some Instagram reel, and it's like I wish more of the world didn't have such a cynical view, and understand that I think most of us that are doing well do have the desire to help others. We do want to see the world go up in a positive direction. Not all of us want to see the world burn. So there's reasoning behind these things. Real quick, guys. So while I was looking at the YouTube analytics, I actually saw that 85% of you guys that watch this channel are not subscribed. And I want to ask very little of you guys, but if you enjoy this podcast, if you find value in it, then please do me this one favor and subscribe to the channel, because doing so helps me get bigger and greater guests like the guests you are listening to today. Also, this channel is not sponsored, which means only the companies that I work with, which are Young LA and Huge Supplements, are the companies that can help fund this channel by you guys using the code NILE. So code NILE gives you a discount of 15% off of Young LA, and code NILE also gives you a discount of 10% off of Huge Supplements. And if you decide to purchase anything from any of these companies, it will help immensely for me by using my code. And this way, I can travel to other guests, such as Dr. Mike Israetel next week, and also upgrade an equipment to make this podcast bigger and better for you guys. I was curious about this because I was hearing Samson talk about this on Fauad's podcast. But what was running through your head when you were called up during first call-outs and you were fighting in the middle for prejudging?
Oh, listen, that's a funny story. We had the numerical order comparisons. So they're going to call number 1 to 8, 9 to whatever, 16. And they're going to pick and choose the first call-out. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. And I got the first call-out shot. And the judges were telling us 2 days before, if you leave the line or you go out the box, we're going to send you back and you will not be compared in the lineup again. So if you get the top 5 spot and you make a mistake by going out the box, they will send you back and you have no chance to get the top 5 spot again. So this is a big deal. So we had the top 5 lineup on stage, and I saw Chris is stepping a step forward out the box. Oh. And I saw Urs going behind him, like a step forward. And I was like, okay, 2 options. I'm looking small, or I go out the box, and it's probably could be dangerous. And okay, I stayed there just to follow the rules, you know?
Yeah.
And then they said, Urs, Chris, and Mike back in line. And I was like, no, please not, man. I made it. Please. It's a top 5. I made it. Please don't send me back. Oh my gosh. And then I already lost my mind. I was like, oh man. And they said, go backstage. And I was like, okay, it's over. Like, I missed it. All the preparation for nothing. Okay, we were backstage and Chris like put his hand on my shoulder and was like, man, that's going to be the top 3 this year. And I was like, wait a second. They would never ever send Chris Bumstead backstage if he goes out the box. And Urs, they would not send him backstage. There's no way. And then I realized, holy crap, that's actually the top 3.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the first step done. But you never know. You're going to compare it again in the finals. Or they compare you again with like the top 4, 5, 6 to see if you're really good enough to stay in the top 3, right?
Right.
And they did not compare us again. So it was time for finals. So I thought, okay. I didn't believe it. So I was waiting for the email. You get an email and they're going to send you a message and they say, okay, you're in the top 10. See you 7 p.m. for the finals. I got this email and I was like, damn, I'm in top 10. All right, let's go. Finals, they compared, the last comparison was Chris and me. Staying next to Chris is a big deal. Just be in his like 2 meter, like 5, 6 foot range is a big deal.
Right.
And they compared us again and again and again. And I saw the judges, I was looking in their eyes and it was like writing down was like, guys, are you serious? Don't act like I'm fighting him. There's no chance that I'm fighting Chris Bumstead. And they switched the places and the poses and did the poses again. And I was posing like hell. I was sore. I'm still sore from the posing 5 days after.
Damn.
And then the awards. I was so nervous. Place number 6, number 5, number 4. And then was like, okay, Urs 3. And he was shaking my hand and I hold his hand like tight and said, Urs, what's happening now? Like what kind of like is there anything I need to do now? I was super nervous and like insecure almost. And he was laughing at me and Chris started laughing at me. And they said, yeah, you should grab your medal because they called your name.
Oh, shit.
And I was just going with the flow. Then, I mean, there's so many emotions. And if you follow the awards, you can see that I'm always talking to my grandma and grandpa before they call my name. Because my grandpa, he was the guy who showed me that work always leads to results. Like the logical consequence of hard work and dedication will always be a result, whatever it is, positive or negative. And I was talking to them basically, like I was looking upwards and I was saying, hey, grandpa, grandma, look at that. I know that they didn't really care about bodybuilding, but the fact that I was working hard all my life to reach this specific goal makes me proud to show them. And this is what I do every time I'm getting an award or like a medal, a trophy. Like I show them that it was worth to teach me how to work, like work for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, man. That's an exhilarating story.
Man, I can tell you, it still feels like a movie. And I get so much attention now. It feels almost weird. I love that. I love to be the person who is able to inspire and motivate others.
Yeah.
Because now I get messages like, "Hey, Mike, you're inspiring me. Like, it's so motivating what you're telling me." And like, I'm still the guy. Like, hey, mate, we eating chicken, broccoli, and rice together. So we're basically on the same page. The only difference is that I'm competing. Like, I'm at the Olympia. Of course, that's the biggest show in the world. And I don't want to make myself small, but basically, we are all on the same page.
Yeah.
We are working hard to achieve something big, and this is what it's about.
Wait, so how long ago did you start this journey? Like, when did you start the bodybuilding and the competing?
I started lifting when I was 11, and I won my first show when I turned 16.
Oh, damn, that's young, 16. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then when was your first Olympia?
Officially 2020. Unfortunately, it was COVID time, and there was a travel ban from Germany to the US. So I got the Olympia qualification. It was pretty tough. And then I was sitting in the at the airport with my dad. My dad is always following me to the competitions, and he's supporting me. He's doing the 10 before we go on stage. I never get the professional 10. He's always doing the 10. So we were sitting in the airport.
That's awesome.
And they told me, like, yeah, you're not allowed to fly. I was like, wait, I have everything. I have my ESTA. I have my passport. Like, everything is set up. And they said, yeah, you need a special document. Like, it's called National Interest Exception something. So, like, doctors and, like, special people get these invitations. And I hadn't. Like, I did not get it. So they didn't let me fly out. It was the hardest time of my life. Seeing my dad, like, look into his eyes, and he was a bodybuilder before, like 30 years ago, and he competed. And I was able to bring him to the Olympia, not as just a guy who sits in the crowd and sees the show. He would be actually a part of it.
Right.
And I saw his eyes, and he was so, like, he wasn't disappointed, he was sad.
Yeah.
That broke my heart. But next year, we were a little bit smarter. So we picked a show in Mexico. We stayed in Mexico for 2 weeks, and then you were allowed to travel to the US. And that's what we did. And then I competed at the Olympia, and I placed top 10 in my first Olympia.
So how does your dad feel now, right now?
But honestly, if I ask him how he feels, he will tell me exactly the same as I'm going to tell you. I have no idea how I feel. I was thinking about it nights and nights and nights. And there is no word for it because not many people are able to feel the way I feel. I'm so close to reach the biggest goal of my life. Imagine the 11-year-old kid sitting in his room, like dreaming, competing at the Olympia, and now I'm so close to get the title. Obviously, there's so much work to do. The athlete's going to be, everybody will bring their A game. Everybody's chasing the title. It's my job now to go back to the gym, back to work, keep my head down, and work.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how he feels. He told me he's super proud. He's super happy. He had basically the time of his life. And that makes me really proud and happy.
That's awesome. I think something that's really cool, though, about your story that I think both you and actually Samson's story that I think resonates with not just me, but I'm sure a lot of people out there and also a lot of young competitors is the fact that, like, not everybody is a Chris Bumstead. Not everybody is a competitor that walks on stage and wins every show all the way till they make it to the top. I personally, for example, took me 9 shows before I got my pro card, 5 national shows, and a good period of them were natural, and I didn't really understand the competition I was going up against. And for me, I would be getting like 16th plus place at nationals. So, you know, me being a young kid, always having wanted to be on Olympia, like it being literally my biggest dream. And all I can see is like, wow, I have the worst potential. I am 16th place. I will never get there. And I think something that's really beautiful about you and say Samson's story is that you guys have been grinding. You guys have been in the pit working from the bottom, having no idea where you would end up. And that's where all this like suspense comes from, right? Inside you, like in your heart, as you are on there on stage, you have no idea where you're going to end up until the moment your name is called. And you're like, there is no way. There's literally no way, but all my hard work has finally come to fruition. It's pretty fucking cool to see, dude.
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. And there's a reason why the word, like, I'm trying to find a word for it, but maybe you need to find one first.
Yeah. I think it's just, it's nice to see, just since I think most people, you know, like a lot of people have ideas and stuff, but they don't ever, I think the hardest thing is like taking the step in and realizing like you're never going to know that you're going to be there, if that makes sense. Like you just have to put the work in, take the step into that zone, and, you know, hopefully someday, many years from now, you'll get closer and closer and closer.
What is definitely hard is to lose, not getting the placing you're wishing for, and setbacks, dark days, hard days. But as soon as you understand it, you can be thankful for every stone in your way, because this will teach you how to solve problems. And problems are always, they keep a potential somewhere. If there's a problem, that means you're actually not good enough to solve it or to make it happen. So you need to go back to work. Problems will always tell you where you can improve. And as soon as you understand that problems are not a bad thing, it's basically a good thing, you end up learning and developing so much faster.
So backtracking a little bit, what was different about this prep, like training or nutrition wise, that you feel brought you this best package?
Oh, we changed basically everything we did. We came back to a upper-lower split, which is, not that common as a professional bodybuilder. Like upper-lower is like a beginner split. But if you have a high frequency, a little bit less volume, but high intensity, your recovery is on point. Everything needs to come into play. Nutrition, recovery, sleep, frequency, volume, intensity, like everything needs to work with each other. And I was living in Dubai at that time for my off season. And maybe you know Bino's gym, the biggest gym in the world. I know the owner pretty well. I'm well connected to him, and he offered me to do the meal prep. I was able to train there for free. They took care of everything I needed. So I had the best foods available, prepped, cooked, ready to eat for me, daily base. I was able to work out twice a day. Dubai is a perfect place to keep your head free. You don't need to go grocery shopping. They're going to deliver it right to your doorstep.
Damn.
I was waking up. I did my cardio. I had a meal. I was working out. I had a meal, took a nap, had a meal, work out, had a meal, took a nap, again and again and again. That's all I did. I have my coaching, and so I'm working online at home. And that's what I did. Cardio, checking messages, bang, bang, bang. Working out, come back to work, eat, bang, 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 back to work, back, back, back. I gained 60 pounds in 4 months.
60?
I was 60. And I was able to keep, 12 pounds from last year to this year. 1 year, 12 pounds solid muscle in condition. Even my condition was better than last year. And that's a big deal. 12 pounds on a high level in basically 4 months of off season is a big deal.
You have to give us all your secrets now. That's crazy.
Yeah, it really came down to food, quality of food, workouts, and my workouts are that precise that people think it's not necessary anymore. I was counting the seconds for each and every rep. I was writing it down. I was writing down how I felt systemically, soreness, sleep, quality of sleep, sleep duration, recovery, food, calories, sets, reps, rest in between, how long did a set take, how did one rep look like, eccentric, concentric. I was paying attention to every detail possible. I was writing it down, so I had all the notes ready. I was able to see, okay, in 3 weeks' time, I need to be there. If not, I need to adjust it right now. And I'm a hobby nerd. So I was sitting at home, just checking the numbers. Of course, with Neil together, he was always in the boat. And it worked out amazing.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think it's very undervalued how much food and training is just so profoundly important in bodybuilding. I mean, obviously with the older crowd and the people that are experienced, they understand, right? But that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy this podcast is I think to the younger audience or whoever is out there that hasn't had as much experience in competing, like you start realizing just how profound that like upping your nutrition and then following certain regimens of training will really make an impact. And I guess I know personally too from my talks with Neil that he really cares about quality of everything that goes in your body. He's like profoundly very concerned with quality. And for training, this has been something I've been curious about because I've noticed that my physique has built more when I implemented like sarcoplasmic focus type training in addition to my myofibril training that, you know, for example, Patrick Tuor has in his SST program or Hanny has in his FST7 program. Is there anything like that you implement in your training?
Yes. Neil works with his Y3T, which is basically 3 different types of workout. He works with different muscle fiber types. So you have week 1, which is more kind of heavier sets, heavier workouts, myofibrical, and then you go into week number 2, which is between 10 to 14 to 16 reps. And you have week number 3. I call it Hell Week. It's basically triple drop sets, 20 reps, drop, 20 reps, drop, 20, like up to 60 reps. And this will show how much you really want it.
Yeah.
And you go through all these protocols.
I remember the 3rd week. I was doing that for some time too. It was Hell Week, bro. It was unreal.
Listen, bro. There was a video. The first time I met Neil, 2019, I was flying to Florida to meet him. It was a super big deal for me. And he wanted to train legs with me and Alex Cambronero, who was in prep for the Olympia, 5 weeks out, I guess. And it was our first meeting, the first workout, and I knew that he wants to see if I really want to be a professional athlete. I was smoked after my second warm-up set. Honestly, he killed me. After doing leg presses and hack squat, I was not able to bend my legs anymore. He was just making fun about me and he was laughing all the time. And listen, after we did walking lunges outside in Florida, summer heat, we were almost fainting and collapsing outside. And he was staying in front of the camera, 3 athletes behind his back. He was not able to see us. And we were like this, literally like shaking and not able to talk and walk anymore. And he was just talking and talking. And we were looking to each other like, Coach, please stop that. He wanted us to be in the video, so behind him, so everybody can see it. And we're like, hey, Coach, we can't stay on our feet anymore. Like, so funny. It's on my YouTube, I guess, but it's like 5 years ago already. He made me cry, man. He made me cry.
I think the density of a workout is heavily undervalued in bodybuilding. Like, you know, everyone's always talked about volume, but I think that's just such a good way that Patrick Tuor describes intensity is like density, if that makes sense, which obviously is something that we do a lot of when we're doing like those triple drop sets.
Yeah.
What was this thing I was going to ask? So when it comes to do you happen to remember what your calories, protein, and carbs were when you were gaining those 60 pounds in those 4 months?
Yes, 4,630 something.
Okay.
Not that high because it was my first off season since 4 years. They raised the weight cap, so I was able to have an off season to gain because I already had my weight cap. Like I reached my weight cap for 200 pounds. There was no need to eat more than necessary. Like I was basically on 3,000 calories all year round, was waiting for jump on diet. And then I just slightly upped a little bit, like 1,500-ish, 1,600-ish. And I was growing. And I haven't seen any value to increase it even more because I don't want to get fat. I just need to fill my body with the nutrients necessary. And that's what I did. If I needed more recovery, more fullness, I was able to feel that, and I was able to see it in my notes.
Yep.
And food is always a huge thing when it comes to recovery. It's not only sleeping and relaxing and stress levels, it's also food.
Oh, yeah. 100%. How high did your carbs go? Do you remember? What were like your highest high days?
400-ish.
Okay.
I need to check the notes. Everything is written down, but it was not that high.
And do you remember, how tall are you?
5'9" point something.
Okay. I feel like that sounds about reasonable too. I think the highest my calories have gone is 3,800 and I'm about 5'7.5". At least that's what the IFBB measures me at. So, I'm assuming that I'll probably approach your calorie intake at some point soon. But I think that's a good high calorie intake without you literally like bursting your gut through your stomach.
The eating was a hard part. I needed to come back to eating because I was like on low food for 3-4 years. And then it's like, okay, eat whatever you need to eat to grow. And I needed to find out because I had no expectations anymore. How does an off season feel? And eating so much that you're not hungry anymore. That was weird. I was always hungry, which is basically a good thing because then your digestive system is on point. But in off season, I was like, I never leave a rice corn on my plate, never. And in this off season, I was like, phew, okay, bang.
If you feel like any of the medications that we spoke about today may benefit you, such as BPC 157, GH secretagogues such as Tesamorelin, IGF-1, oxandrolone troche, semaglutide, then you can obtain these from Trensparent HRT, and the link for that will be in the bio. If you feel like you're experiencing symptoms of low testosterone, such as depression, anxiety, lack of motivation, as well as lack of sex drive, then you can get this checked out as well by getting your blood work done at Transcend, and they will provide you expert medical analysis. Transcend HRT has worked with many professional bodybuilders and pro athletes, such as Thor Bjornsson, Phil Heath, and Jeremy Buendia. And if you feel like this podcast has any relevancy to you, I do believe that this clinic will provide of great benefit to you as well. Real quick, I know that you have to go real soon, but would you be up to running through this Q&A real quick? Because a lot of people give you a lot of questions.
Yeah, let's make it Q&A fire.
Okay, let's do it. Jacob asks, what does your peak normally look like? Did you guys do anything different for Olympia?
Nope. This time we did almost nothing. We kept the salt the same. We kept the water the same. We kept everything the same. We had practiced the low days and we practiced the carbing up 3 times to make sure everything is on point. I had sushi, so I was splitting my sushi into pieces. I was weighing every piece.
Ooh,
we went there 3 times to see what's happening after day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Digestion, bloating, water retention, inflammation. And I pick and choose everything precisely. And then everything worked out perfect.
Gotcha. This differs per person, of course, but how many carb days do you feel like you normally need?
We carved up for 2 days, but not pretty high. We had like 200, 300 grams of carbs per day.
Okay,
not
cool.
that much.
I think we have to. I think you and I tend to have a little bit more similar numbers than others that I'm used to. Jonathan asks, what do you think of the scorecards and Greg Doucette's video and the discussion of Chris winning by split decision?
It's written on paper. There's nothing to talk about. I feel it's basically the first time somebody else got some points compared to Chris Bumstead, which is unbelievable.
Some of these questions we already answered. KST Mario asks, now that T-Bum is gone, what does he think the new trend for Classic will look like?
Sebum will always be the leader. He basically formed classic physique. So everybody will be compared to Chris, even in 10 years. But there's the thing. I'm a bodybuilder deep inside my heart. And I know that my bone structure looks very aesthetic, but at the same time, I can bring some more muscle, which makes it look more freaky in a very aesthetic way. And this is how I want to change the classic physique.
I like that. I think you and Terrence both have that.
Yeah, and he will compete next Olympia, and he will be on point. On point.
I'm so ready to see it. Kai HBLR asks, do you think that you can achieve this same condition next year or better?
Better. That's the goal. That's why I go back to work. This is what my grandpa told me. Never be satisfied. You can always be better.
Still Drede asks, what is better culture, Schwaben or Badener?
Badener. That's part of Germany. Schwaben is more like southern Stuttgart, and I'm Baden-Württemberg, like Heidelberg, Frankfurt area.
Gotcha. JT Talabong asks, did the beard give him super secret powers during the 2024 O?
Yes. I went to Pittsburgh and JM told me, keep the beard. And I was not really sure if that's a good idea, but it was a good idea. And it's a trademark now. People printing shirts with my beard.
I think it's fucking awesome, dude. Arthur Oderley asks, what's his favorite body part right now and which is your favorite to train?
My favorite body part is to train legs, because that separates champions from losers. This is like leg workouts are more a mental thing than a physical thing, because you need to nail it. Optically, I think chest and shoulders. This is what turns a boy into a man.
Okay. I was always the chest and shoulders too. But now, looking at your physique, I realize how much I need to work on my lats.
Your chest looks pretty good, though. And I was not joking when I sent you the message.
Thank you, bro.
You have a big, thick chest, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Means a lot coming from you.
Guys, he thought I'm making jokes about it. He sent me a message, was like, bro, one day I will have a chest like you. And he thought I was making jokes, but I
didn't. James Alabaster asks, are you coming to UK this coming year for travel or Arnold's? Would love to get a session in being a competitor.
If I'm competing in UK, I will not be able to train someone. I will be deadly focused because I need to. I know that all the other competitors are chasing the title and I'm not sleeping. I'm not the guy who thinks, okay, I'm good enough. Never, ever. I really need to go back to work.
Favelius asks, do you think the next championships will be you and Ramon, the big battle?
It's not about me and Ramon. It's about, we have 60 world-class athletes around, like almost 60 athletes qualified for the Olympia. And no one of these guys are looking bad. Some need to improve, as every one of us, but there are plenty good athletes.
Debum303 asks, drop the back workout.
Okay, pullovers, unilateral rows, unilateral lat pull-downs, and T-bar rows. These four, this is the main part.
Okay.
I try to attack every different fiber. So, like, you know, I don't want to go into detail, but these 4 exercises are really, really beneficial.
Okay, cool. That's cool for me to see because the top 3 of your 4 exercises are also top 3 of my lat exercises too for growth. So we're on to something.
Yep.
Okay, so I ask one last question at the end of every podcast. But if you were to disappear from the world tomorrow, whether or not you pass on to the next life or what, and you had one message you could send to the entire world today, what would that message be?
Okay, listen, because that's deep. That's really deep. That comes straight out from my heart. So everybody who's able to hear that, please listen carefully. The last day of your life should be worth to go to your museum and have a look on each and every picture. That being said, once you're done, you made memories with different people, different places, different moments. And all these moments are pictures in your museum. And if someone enters your museum, I want to make sure that they inspire, they're motivated, and they feel good. I made so many good experience and memories. Like, I'm traveling since 3 years. I took my wife before I married her. I told her, hey, listen, if that's serious, I will move to Mexico in 3 months. And she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to cancel my jobs, sell my car, and say goodbye to mom and family. And then we left the country. We moved to Mexico, and we had the time of our life. We moved to Dubai. We moved to Spain. We don't have a home since 3 years. We met so many incredible people, so many lovely people, so many great places. We had ups and downs. We were living in the jungle, no running water, no showers. We had no car. We needed to walk to the gym an hour and back in prep. I had no one there. We just moved there in my Olympia prep, and I made it. And I placed top 5. And all these moments, all these memories are collected in a museum. And once you walk through and you see all these pictures, you're going to be inspired. And that should be the goal for everyone. What I don't want to do is working on my 9 to 5 for the next 60 years, doing the same thing, not enjoying life. And I chose to live life on my terms. And nobody knows if that's really, you never know if it's a good thing in the end. But now I can see everything I did was absolutely worth it. I'm really close to reach the biggest goal of my life. And that's what I'm saying. This feeling is so rare and incredible that there's no word existing. So what I'm telling you guys is live life on your terms and make the best out of it in each and every way. Be the best person you can be for everyone who's worth it. Your family, your friends, mom, dad, wife, husband. Do whatever you can do to be the best person you can be.
I love that, bro. That's awesome. Thanks for that. I also forgot to say that I think you and your wife are awesome, and I love y'all's style, by the way, down to the tattoos too. Fire.
She's a tattoo artist. She's a videographer. She's a teacher in university for sports. She was running 5 gyms. She's a beast, man, bro. Believe me.
Running 5 gyms? 2?
She was running 5 gyms.
What the hell?
She was 21.
What?
Yeah. She has
crazy.
like a bachelor for sports and science. And she's the girl sitting in front of all the students and tell them she has like over 20 certificates, and she's a brain, man.
That's awesome, bro.
She's amazing. Cool. Like, literally, I met her, and after a few months, I said, hey, you know what? Please marry me. Please.
Oh, fire. Damn.
Oh, man. She's the best. She's really. And since today, we had not a single argument. Not one. It's not possible to have an argument with her.
Wow. That's goals, bro.
Bro, listen. As I got married, I was like, you know what, guys? Bro, I'm out. Don't ever ask me again. Like, I'm happy. Do whatever you want to do, but, I'm out. Everything's fine. Don't bother me anymore.
Fire. This is the journey of the Mr. O himself. Well,
we'll see.
Thanks for coming on the podcast again, bro. That was really awesome. I know that you had a little time.
The talk was amazing. So easy to talk to you. That's amazing.
Thanks, bro. That means a lot. I'm really glad we were able to do it in the time that we had. But you're a huge inspiration to everybody, bro. And I'm super excited to see the rest of your journey. And hopefully I might be up there with you someday, some point.
Of course, you need to work, as you know. Then you're going to be there.
When I can finally grow out a beard.
And if your community wants to have me again for some other questions, I'm down. Next week's going to be less tight. So whenever you need me, let me know.
Hell yeah. I would love to, because I really wanted to really wanted to dive deeper into your actual story, but I knew that we didn't have too much time today, so I was kind of curious about some science.
I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry, but
no,
thank you for your understanding.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Definitely sometime again soon. So, where can everybody find you?
Instagram, it's Mike the Badass, or on YouTube, it's Mike Sommerfeld.
Awesome.
And if you guys interested in the ebook, I told Don't Waste to Waste, it's for free on my website. It's mikesommerfeld.com. You can just check out the shop, download it for free. Easy.
I'm about to download that myself. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Mike Sommerfeld, the new 2024 Mr. O runner-up in Classic. And if you guys would like to support the podcast, you can by rating us at 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you find your podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and clicking the bell button, because that's what gets us sick and amazing guests like today. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, buddy.
Later, brother. Safe travels.
Thank you. Bye-bye.